Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Tika Nur Safana. I'm English Education Student 2015 in English Department, Faculty of Arts and Languages. This video is made for the requirement of my final project defense for my Sarjana Pendidikan degree in English Education. My final project is under the title Formulaic Expressions, Collocation and Inserts used in Transactional Conversations spoken by English Department students of UNES. Before we going to discuss my findings and discussion, firstly, I'd like to show you the content of this video. The first one is Chapter 1, consists of background of the study, reasons for choosing the topic, statements of the problems, and significances of the study. And then for Chapter 2, we are going to discuss review of previous studies, review of related literature, and theoretical framework. And then Chapter 3, I'm going to present source of data, research instruments, and procedures of analyzing the data. In Chapter 4, I'm going to present the findings and discussions of my final project. Last but not least, in Chapter 5, I'm going to draw conclusions from my findings and discussion, and also present the suggestions for the next researcher and also the readers. Without further ado, let's go to the Chapter 1, which is Introduction. Firstly, we have background study. In the background study, I will show you the issue, why I choose the topic for my final project. In English learning and teaching, it is a well-known fact that EFL learners should or must master basic English skill as their goal of learning English. Listening, reading, speaking, and writing are skills that should be acquired by EFL learners. However, there is also another important skill that should be considered as the goal of English learning and teaching. It is communicative competence. EFL learners also need to develop communicative competence to help them produce appropriate spoken or written English. According to Chelsea Marcia in 2007, communicative competence can be developed into some competencies. They are sociocultural competence, discourse competence, linguistic competence, formulaic competence, interactional competence, and strategic competence. Among these competences, there is formulaic competence, which is essential to be learned for helping EFL learners to develop their speaking skills. In English learning and teaching, especially EFL learners, in order to develop their speaking skills, they need to attend speaking classes. One of speaking classes that should be taken by English department students is transactional conversation class. Based on this information, I'd like to know whether formulaic competence, which is essential for speaking skill development, is also acquired by English department students in transactional conversation class. Okay, for the next part is reasons for choosing the topic. I choose formulaic competence as my topic because some reasons. First, formulaic language plays important role in EFL learning, especially enhancing the fluency of language production. Formulaic language helps learners speak English native-like and fluently. It helps them to find a suitable vocabulary or phrases they want to deliver. And then second, Despite the fact that formulaic language is important in EFL learning, most of EFL learners are not aware of the presence of formulaic language. As stated by Husnitan and Rukmini in 2016, Indonesian EFL learners are lack of formulaic competence, and they have difficulty using their English production to communicate. The writer only focuses on collocation and insert because they are heavily used in the daily life communication among other types of formulaic language. After explaining the reasons why I chose the topic, I propose two statements of the problems on my study. First, what kind of collocation and inserts are used on the transactional conversation spoken by second semester English department students of UNES? And then number two, what are the most frequent collocations and inserts used on conversations spoken by second semester English department students of UNES? And then we go to the next chapter. Review of related literature consists of reviews of previous studies, review of related literature, and theoretical framework. First, I will discuss the review of previous studies. In this study, I served two previous studies which relates to the topic of my final project, which is formulaic expressions. First study is entitled The EFL Learner's Perception and Realization of Formulaic Sequences in Casual Conversation by Davius Nita and Dwi Rukmini in 2016. The study aims to find out EFL learners' perception and realization of formulaic sequences in casual conversations, and see how the perception relate to the realizations. The participants in the study are 13 students of English Department of UNES graduate program. The study found 6 types of formulaic sequence based on combination of Bieber et al. And Seltzer-Mercier. These are inserts, collocations, routines, multi-word units, binomial expressions, and idioms. The most frequent type that was found in that study was inserts. And then the second study is entitled The Use of Formulaic Expression in EFL Students' Interactions by Hesni Neno and Helena B.R. Agustin in 2016. The study examines formulaic expression which is used in the students' conversation. The participants were 9 students from English Study Program at Timor State University in Kevamananu. The research showed that the students produce all types of formulaic expressions. The most frequent types were collocation and lexical bundle. However, the students use many unnatural expressions. It happened because of different language systems. Those are the previous studies I used in conducting my final project. After that, we go to the next sections, review of related literature. In review of related literature, I use 3 main points. The first is collocation. McCarthy and Odell in 2005 defines collocation as a pair of groups of words that are often used together. It is also stated that sometimes there is a pair of words which is not absolutely wrong and people still grasp the meaning. For example, native speaker would likely to use I made a few mistakes instead of I did a few mistakes. However, people still understand the meaning if someone said I did a few mistakes. In the study, the writer applied the combination of collocation classification from Bieber et al. And McCarty and Odell. Those are adjective, noun, noun and noun, verb and noun, verb and verb, verb and adjective, adverb and adjective, adverb and adverb, and verb plus expression with prepositions. And then the second is insert. According to Bieber et al. In 1999, inserts are a relatively newly recognized category of word that is functioned to create an interactive speech. Inserts can be categorized as formulaic expression since it is used to tell a meaning. Either it is a word, single morpheme like yes, no, please, okay, etc., or word string like you know, I mean, thank you, and etc. The study employed insert categorization from Bieber et al. The categories are greetings and farewells, discourse markers, attention signals, response elicitors, response forms, polite formulae, expletives. And then the third is transactional conversations. Based on Higgins and Slate, transactional conversation has clear communicative or pragmatic structure which involves complementary. It implies that in transactional conversations, there is purpose that need to be achieved by the participants, and they need to work together so the goal can be achieved. The purpose in the transactional conversations can be getting information, goods, or services. In the study, the students performed transactional conversations for some purposes. For example, asking for direction and information, giving and receiving services, and etc. After that, we go to the theoretical framework. In conducting the research, I applied the theoretical framework. In EFL learning, communicative competence is the main goal that should be achieved in order to do well in communications. It is the ability to use knowledge of language appropriately so the speaker establishes effective communication and the message will be well delivered to the interlocutor. According to Selsa-Murcia in 2007, communicative competence is divided into 6 components. They are sociocultural competence, discourse competence, linguistic competence, formulaic competence, interactional competence, and strategic competence. These competencies are interrelated with each other. Each competence should be considered in EFL learning. However, the study only focuses on formulaic competence. The researcher is interested in formulaic competence since it could enhance the fluency of speech production. Additionally, the researcher wants to know the formulaic language knowledge of English department students. The researcher also wants to know what kind of formulaic expression which is used by English department students. However, I specify the formulaic language that is investigated, which are collocation and insert. That's all for the theoretical framework. Now, we go to the next chapter, that is method of investigation. The next section is research instrument. I use Bieber et al. And Mercier theory to create data analysis worksheet. There were two worksheets that I used. The first one is classification of insert and collocation. It is in the form of table. It was in the table 3.1. It consists of number, scene, speaker, the utterances, and types of formulaic expressions. I identified collocation and insert in the utterances by highlighting them. Collocation is highlighted in blue color and insert is highlighted in yellow color. The second worksheet I used is the occurrence of insert and collocation. This worksheet consists of the types of formulaic expressions, frequency, and percentage. And that is the research instrument that I used. And then the next section is the procedures of analyzing the data. In analyzing the data, there are several steps that I did. First one is transcribing the videos. I transcribe all the conversation between students. And then second is identifying. After the transcribing process is finished, I identified collocation and insert from the transcript that I made. During the process of identifying, I also consulted the dictionary to make sure that the collocation that were found in the transcript were accepted as collocation. Third is classifying. In this step, I use theories from Bieber et al., McCarthy and Odell, and Mercier to classify the types of collocation and insert that were found in the transcript. And then the next step is counting the frequency and percentage of formulaic expressions that were found in the conversations. The tabulation of insert and collocation occurrence is presented in the table form. After that, the next step is interpreting. The data is interpreted based on Bieber et al. And Mercier theories, and then it will be compared to the previous study's finding. And that is chapter 3. Now we move on to the next chapter, that is findings and discussion. The first findings that I got from data analysis is the frequency of formulaic expressions that used in the conversation. As we can see in the chart, the students use both collocation and inserts. The chart shows that the students produce inserts more frequently than collocations. The percentage of inserts that was produced by the students around 62%. Meanwhile, the percentage of collocation was around 38%. The second finding that I found is the students used all the insert types. Meanwhile, the students only use 7 out of 8 collocation types. There is only one type of collocation that is not produced. It is verb plus expression with prepositions. As we can see on the tables, inserts appeared 215 times. Meanwhile, collocation only appeared 132 times. And then next we are going to the next section, discussion of findings. In the discussion of findings, I'm going to describe collocation and insert use in the conversation. The first one is collocation. The students produced 7 out of 8 collocation types. As we can see on the chart, the most frequent collocation type that was produced is the combination of verb and noun. Now we are going to discuss the collocation types that were produced one by one. The first one is the combination of adjective and noun. The combination of adjective and noun in the study occurred 26 times. Most of the combination of adjective and nouns are obvious. They are hard work, good work, big city, fresh air, nice person, good guy, big problem, important information, useless thing, good score, little sister, public speaking, short film, mainstream story, and romantic scene. Public speaking can be considered as fixed or strong collocations, since there is no other word than public collocates with speaking to give the same meaning. And then the combination of noun and noun. There were 18 word combinations of noun and noun in this study. They are romance movie, genre film, comedy film, service center, credit card, childhood friend, and exchange student. There is combination that is unnatural. It is body gesture. It is more common to use body language than body gesture. The third is verb and noun. The combination of verb and noun in the study occurred 36 times. It is the most frequent collocation type that is used in the study. They are have money, show expression, have seat, take wallet, finish project, have dream, get score, move lips, make film, get idea, ask question, give answer. The writer found the combination of verb and noun that is unnatural. The students use close phone instead of hang up or end the call when they are done talking on the call. And then next, the fourth, verb and adjective. The combination word of verb and adjective occurred only 5 times in the study. The examples are sounds great, look amazing, look confused, look neat, look handsome. These collocations are more open. Their combination may be changed with other words but still give similar meaning. For example, look amazing, it can be changed to seem amazing or sound amazing. And the number 5, we have verb and adverb. There were 31 combinations of verb and adverb that existed in the study. They are think straight, live alone, come here, go straight, speak slowly, turn right, turn left, come back, stay inside, know well, go there, pay back, go ahead, need immediately, run immediately, repeat again, stay away, walk around. Most of them are obvious or easy to be produced and understood. For example, turn left, turn right, come here, stay inside, need immediately, run immediately, and totally agree. And next, we have adverb and adjective. There were 6 combinations of adverb and adjective that exist in this study. They were most important to expensive, very expensive, so confused, very happy, and pretty sure. Most of them are regarded as weak collocation because they could be combined with other words and still has similar meaning. And then the last but not least, there is adverb and adverb. The combination of adverb and adverb appeared 7 times in the study. Actually, there were only 2 combinations, but they were produced several times. They were right now and far away. And that is the discussion of collocation that were produced in the conversation. Now we move on to the next sections. We are going to discuss inserts that were produced in the conversations. Okay, so the students produced all insert types in the study. As you can see on the chart, the most frequent insert type that was produced is response form. And then now we are going to discuss the insert types one by one. Okay, the first one is greeting. In this study, the students only mentioned 2 greetings, such as hello and hi. Greeting is used as an introduction to the next utterance that interlocutor wants to give. The flow of interaction sounds natural when greeting is used at the beginning of interaction. Bieber et al. Stated that greetings are typically reciprocated in a symmetrical exchange. It means that greetings should be replied by greeting. Okay, we have an example. From the example, the student wants to apologize to his friend, but he starts his conversation with greeting, hi, so the interaction is not awkward. However, the first speaker doesn't get reply in form of greeting, so it contradicts with the Bieber et al. Theory that stated that greetings should be replied by greeting. And next is farewell. Farewell in the study occurred 4 times, but it was only in 2 forms. They are bye and see you. Farewell also has the same function as greeting. It could make the conversation smoother or natural. We have an example in example 2. After C4 excuse herself, she says bye. If she doesn't say bye, it will be unnatural and also it is not polite. However, B4 only respond okay to the farewell that is said by C4. As Bieber et al. Stated that farewell or leave-takings follow the same principle as greetings in being typically reciprocated. It could be better if B4 also said farewell in response to the C4's farewell. Okay, now the third is discourse marker. In the study, discourse marker occurred 40 times. There are well, anyway, okay, by the way. In the study, the students used some discourse markers in various functions. The first one is to make turn-taking process going smoothly. From the example number 4, by using discourse marker, the turn-taking process is going smoothly. Before asking C4 again, before used by the way, so the turn-taking goes natural. And then the next example is sample number 5. Discourse markers also can be used to indicate decision approving. Usually it signals that the speaker wants to start the next stage of conversation which requires action. Based on the example 5, this course marker signals the decision that the speaker made, which is accepting Before's offer to go home together. And next, this course markers, it is also used to respond agreement or disagreement in more interactive way. In example 6, it can be seen that the use of well in the example is to show the disagreement that Before has. Before a discourse marker well before saying his disagreement. By using discourse marker, it also helps the interaction become more interactive. Okay, next is attention signal. Attention signal in this study occurs 16 times. The role of attention signal is usually used by speaker to attract addressee's attention. For example, in the example 7, they do use hey. Hey is usually produced when someone wants to make clear that they are addressing a specific person. Attention signal is not only to address specific person, but also to a group of people. It can be seen in the example 8. Hey, wait a minute, we are fasting right now, aren't we? And next we have response elicitors. Response elicitors that were produced in the study were okay and right. The role of one-word response elicitor is finding out whether the message has been grasped by the listener. Bieber et al. Mentioned that one-word response elicitor often have more speaker-centered role, seeking a signal that the message has been understood and accepted. An exception is the question take right, which normally requires a verbal response. So it can be seen in the example 8. The students use right, and the students also use okay. Okay. Response elicitor can also be authoritative. It demands the hearer to obey or agree to the speaker. And then next is response form. Response form was the most frequent insert type that was produced in the study. Response form that appear in the conversations are no, yeah, yep, okay. Response form is used to respond to the statement, opinion, or question that is said by the previous speaker. Okay, in the example 10, it is a positive response, and in the example 9, it is negative response. Okay, the next insert is polite formulae. Polite formulae are important in speech acts such as thanking, apologizing, requesting, and etc. Being polite when having interaction is essential for establishing or maintaining relationship. Since polite formulae is formulaic, it helps the interlocutors show or communicate their polite intention conventionally. Polite formulae occurred 43 times. They are thanks, thank you very much, sorry, I'm sorry, excuse me, pardon, please. The students use polite formulae to respond after receiving helps. It can be seen in example 14. And then next, the students also use polite formulae to respond to a compliment. They use thanks. And then next, to show politeness, they use polite formulae, pardon me and please. And then to apologize after causing trouble or making a mistake, they use I'm sorry and sorry in an example 16. Okay, now we have expletives. Expletives is used to show expression of surprise or pleasure. It is also used for taboo expression when responding to negative experience. Bieber et al. Divided expletives into two categories. They are taboo expletives and moderated expletives. In this study, the students produce both expletives. For the moderated expletives, the students produce "what the heck," "oh my gosh," "jeez," "oh my gosh." And then for the taboo expletives, the students produce "damn." Now we go on to the last chapter of this final project, which is chapter 5. It consists of conclusion and suggestions. So from the findings and discussion before, I concluded that the students produce insert and collocation in their conversation. The occurrence of insert is more frequent than the occurrence of collocation. The writer found out that the students use all insert types in their interaction. Meanwhile, the students only use 7 out of 8 collocation types. In collocation analysis, the combination of verb and noun is the most frequent collocation used among other collocation types. On the other hand, in insert analysis, response form is the most frequent insert. Most of the collocation that were produced by the students are natural, even though the collocation are easily predicted and common. However, there is a combination that is unnatural or incorrect collocation. In example, the combination of verb and noun, "close the phone." It is unnatural and incorrect collocation. Native speakers use "hang up the phone" or "end the call" instead of "close the phone." It happens because there is direct translation from Indonesian language. And then, most of the inserts that were produced by the students are quite significant. The students use inserts in appropriate situation and function. The students use this course marker "well" or "anyway" to take turns in the conversation, and students use "please," "thank you" when asking for information. Even though there is an event where the greeting and farewell are not responded with another greeting and farewell, it contradicts with the principle stated by Bieber et al. So, from the conclusion and the findings and discussion I mentioned before, I suggest some suggestions for the future researcher, English learners, and English teacher. For future researchers, for the next researchers who investigate related study, they may investigate all the formal expression types in English conversation. They also can investigate not only students' conversation but also students' writing. The study will give a contribution to the teaching learning strategy. And then for English learners, learning formulaic expression not only helps them produce their English more easily and fluently, but also helps them maintain the conversation. Learning formulaic expression also helps students to use English in appropriate situations. And then next, for English teachers, by giving more exposure to the students about formulaic expression, it can help students learn English easier. Formulaic expressions are in the form of fixed chunk. Students can memorize it easier. It also helps students to produce fluent and native-like speech. And that's all from my presentations. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.